Hello everyone. So another video discussing the topic of non-duality. My name is Gavin, by the way, and I wouldn't say I've been a spiritual seeker, but I would say for many years I have been seeking something other than what is, always been dissatisfied, and just trying to improve myself, improve my surroundings, just like most people, I think. So I've made a few notes on my laptop that I'm going to read from today. And today I wanted to talk in particular about the past, the present, and the future. And how them three things, the past, the present, and the future, they do seem different now after what you could call my awakening, or the glimpses that I've had. One of the most fascinating things that can happen after an awakening is that time itself, what we call the past and the future and the present, is revealed to be nothing more than an imagination. It's literally just thoughts appearing and disappearing. And depending on the character, depending on the body-mind that seems to have an awakening, what can remain after glimpses or awakening can look very different for different people. It seems that the shift can be very subtle with some bodies, and it can be very radical for others. Now, for me personally, the biggest shift was the events of the past. So before all of this, the past for me was quite heavy. It was painful, and I had what you could call a poor upbringing in the story. I suffered in different ways, and for a long time these memories felt very solid and real, and they were still shaping me even today. But after the awakening, it's as if the past lost all of its solidity, and I mean completely. It just collapsed, lost all reality. And I'm not saying that thoughts of the past don't appear anymore. They do. And they can still show up, a memory here or an image there. But now it's so clear that they're just thoughts, just images, just imagined stories. They carry no meaning and they have no weight. And it's not a denial at all. It's just that now things are seen just as they are. So the thoughts of the past, they can appear, but I can't seem to latch onto them anymore. There's no hook, because it's being seen so clearly that the past is just a story in time, completely imagined. And the strange thing is that even those events that I've lived through, it's seen that they were never actually happening to me. There was never anyone experiencing them. Things just happened. Life lived itself without a separate self. And that applies to you. It applies to everyone. The seeing isn't personal. When the illusion is seen through, you realize that there's never been and there is never any control over anything. That realization makes the present moment feel incredibly immediate and intimate. So when the weight of the past collapsed, when it completely drops, and the pull of the future weakens, what's left is just this, just this immediacy. And the present isn't really the right word for it either, because the present moment we often talk about is just another concept in time. What's actually here is timeless. It doesn't need to be captured or held onto. It just is. You can't actually name it because nobody knows what it is. So using the word present is just another concept. It is just another story. And when it's seen, it's so obvious that right now is all there ever is. It's not a moment in time, not something to hold or protect, but the very aliveness that's always here, appearing as whatever is happening. So it's just pure immediacy. And it doesn't depend on what's happening either. So it doesn't depend on whether the character is happy or sad, successful or failing, peaceful or restless, because all of those things are just appearances in this too. Now I want to talk about the future, because this is where it gets interesting for this body-mind personally. Because even after the realization, even after the clarity that the future is imagined, this body-mind and this nervous system still has momentum. For decades, I've been chasing success, money, career growth. And that's pretty much drove most of my life. After the awakening, that drive has sort of collapsed. Motivation for those things has fallen away, because it's seen so clearly that there is no next. That right now is all there is. But here's the paradox that's been happening here. The nervous system still tries to move forward into an imagined future. There's still this tug and this pull. Now, intellectually, I can understand that the future is a fantasy. The mind knows it's just imagination, but the body sometimes hasn't caught up. So there's this kind of tug of war between resting in what is, in this immediacy, and being pulled into trying to get somewhere else, somewhere other than this, which of course is impossible because this is timeless. And that can create a lot of resistance, a lot of frustration, and a feeling of wanting to arrive at some future next, some other possibility other than this. And while that's happening intellectually, you understand that that's impossible, so that's where the frustration comes from. So honestly, it's really fascinating, because the very thoughts about the future and even the resistance to them is also part of this. It's an appearance in this timelessness. So it's exposing that time also appears in this timelessness. But it does become a bit of a cosmic joke. It's quite funny because the more you resist them thoughts, the more that it feels like a problem. The more you try to fight the illusion, the more you reinforce it. But the moment that it's realized that the resistance is this also, it's game over. Everything softens. Because the striving of trying to get to a future next, the resistance, the tug of war, the whole drama about wanting to escape what is by trying to get to a future imagined next is also this. So it's so obvious that even the resistance, even the thoughts, negative thoughts, positive thoughts, it doesn't matter. Anything that arises can only arise in this that's happening now. And when that's seen, there's this freedom to let everything to be, just allow everything to be as it is. Whether it's peace, rest, or whether it is frustration or striving to get to the next, that's just what's happening. It's all just life being exactly what it is. So for me, this is kind of like an ongoing dance. At times there's complete rest in what cannot be other than what is. But then at times there's this pull towards the next career success or the next achievement. At times there is resistance, frustration, even confusion. But through it all, the clarity remains. The past is only imagined. The future is only imagined. And even the present moment, as we usually think of it, is just a thought. Everything is just thoughts. It's all imagined. So what's actually here is timeless. What's actually here is simply this, appearing as everything, including thoughts of time, including the stories, including the striving for the next, including the resistance. There's no denial of the stories here. That's what makes life magical. That's all we've got, the stories. But it's important to be able to see through them, I feel. And that's the paradox and the beauty of what this is. Especially when you realise that the resistance is it too. Thanks for listening.